What's up, everybody? It's Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. This is the 2022 NFL season week one recap. Dustin, good to have you on the show as always, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, man. A big week and week one so far. A lot of good games and a lot of shockers, really.
Oh yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of action, a lot of craziness. Um, all kinds of craziness when it comes to the kicks and just wildness throughout the league. Let's start it up with the opener on Thursday night. The Buffalo Bills at the defending champion LA Rams. Um, what were you looking forward to going into this game? I mean, the Bills are, pretty much everyone's picked to go to the Super Bowl, not only go, but win the whole thing. Are you part of that, part of that group that thinks
Oh
that?
yeah, absolutely. I think the Bills are the best team, and they're the team to beat in the whole entire NFL.
Yeah.
Uh, but the headline for me when I was going into there is how can the Rams keep the momentum? Like, can Matthew Stafford, play as good as he did, in the Super Bowl, and is the Rams defense still the same?
Yeah. And no longer having Odell Beckham Jr. and Allen Robinson step into that role, you know, things like that. No more Gerald Everett. But and something I'm gonna be keeping an eye on all season long is Stafford's elbow and that elbow tendonitis. And we saw a little bit of that in this game as the Bills blow the Rams out 31-10, and Stafford throws three interceptions. Um, how surprised were you with the outcome and how this game was played?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be closer just because Josh Allen at the beginning had a couple mistakes and throwing picks also.
Yeah,
The Rams just could not capitalize on the mistakes, and I thought it'd be a lot closer ball game.
yeah, I did too. I thought it was gonna be a great game. I debated picking the Rams. I ended up picking the Bills just because. And the Bills really stepped up right where they left off, being very explosive, marching right down the field. Gabriel Davis, scoring touchdowns. Stephon Diggs, being a threat, major threat as always. And what did you think of Jalen Ramsey kind of getting torched a little bit? He allows 6 catches for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns and a perfect passer rating against him. I mean, is Jalen Ramsey still that shutdown number one corner?
I mean, I wouldn't say that he's not the shutdown corner. He's still good, but he's just taken a step back in my opinion. Uh, Quarterbacks aren't afraid to go after him anymore
Yeah.
like they used to.
And these receivers in Buffalo are no joke. I mean, Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis, some of the best in the league.
Oh yeah, Diggs played very well too.
Yeah. And then it's kind of funny. Did you see that quote of what Jalen Ramsey said about Josh Allen when he got drafted? How he was, the trash pick?
Oh no, I did not see that.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey, when Josh Allen got picked by the Bills in the draft, Jalen Ramsey said it's a terrible pick, hashtag trash, like, waste of a pick in his opinion. Since that time, Josh Allen is 3-0 versus Jalen Ramsey in his career.
Huh. Seems like Ramsey may have lit a fire under him.
Yeah. Another thing to keep an eye on, Von Miller comes from the Rams to the Bills. A lot of people last year were starting to think Von Miller was kind of washed or old or past his prime, but he stepped it up in the playoffs in big games, NFC Championship game, the Super Bowl, and then has 2 sacks on the opener for Buffalo. You think Von Miller can be a big part of the Bills' success this year?
Oh yeah, to me this is a huge pickup, and this is what the Bills needed last year. they needed somebody who could be consistent with the pass rush, and
Hmm.
I that's exactly what Von Miller brings to their defense.
Absolutely. They were already the number one defense in football last year. Now they've got an improved pass rush and should be on pace for another at least top five defense, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, so you might not agree with this, and I was harping on it all last season, all playoffs, and I think that is justified. And tell me how you what you think of this. So Matthew Stafford was tied for the most interceptions in the NFL last season, with 17. We saw it throughout the playoff run. At the end of the year, week 18, we saw it. We saw it what could have been against the 49ers. And we saw, with the Jaquiski Tart should have been interception. We saw it in the Super Bowl, a couple interceptions. We saw it in the opener with three of them. He's dealing with the elbow tendonitis. I've said this before that if Stafford isn't 100%, look for the turnovers to skyrocket. I'm telling you, I think Stafford's going to be in for a long season. I think he leads the league in interceptions again. Do you think that he can overcome that, or do you think I'm crazy? What do you think?
Oh man, Stafford is somebody hard to predict, because
Yeah,
he has years where he's really good and years where he struggles. Um, to me, being in LA, I think he's gonna have a better year. The
yeah,
elbow does worry me, and I think that the Rams are keeping that, you know, closely tight within the franchise and not really trying to say anything about it.
yeah. There's a lot of people saying, it's not a problem. He's throwing just fine. Don't worry about it. But Chris Sims had a little bit of something to say about it today, and he mentioned how maybe when he throws from a certain angle, it hurts. So he's changed his angle a little bit at times, and that could lead to some more interceptions. So we'll see. Also, do you think there's a chance there's been some rumblings that the Rams are interested in bringing back Odell Beckham Jr. at some point this season when he's healthy? Do you think that could help?
Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna help. That would let them have a wide receiver number two next to Cooper Cup.
Yeah. And what about Allen Robinson? He was pretty much a no-show in that opening game.
Yeah, to me, he didn't show up a lot in Chicago, I believe, right?
Last year, he was a number one receiver up until last season. And last season, a lot of us chalked it up to no chemistry between him and Justin Fields. But now, maybe Allen Robinson's taken a step or two back, you know?
Yep, I agree.
So we'll see. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Allen Robinson, Matthew Stafford, and the Rams in week 2 as they'll be at home against the Atlanta Falcons. That's a very winnable game. Rams need to get that one and avoid 0-2.
Yeah, if they go 0-2, it's gonna be not a good look
Yep.
being the
And
defense.
then the Titans at the Bills on Monday Night Football. Good opportunity for the Bills to get to 2-0, but the Titans, that should be a really good game.
Yeah, it was last year, so
Yeah. So looking
they
for
need this win though, because you know they just had New York go into Tennessee and beat them.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that. That was not good. Let's go Saints Falcons. Um, this surprised the hell out of me, Dustin. The Falcons led 26-10 early in the fourth quarter. Marcus Mariota was doing his thing, 280 plus passing yards, a rushing touchdown. Cordell Patterson was doing his thing. Even the rookie Drake London. Uh, how were you? Shocked? Were you surprised by how good Atlanta looked?
Uh, I know that they have a little bit of weapons with Patterson and London and Pitts, and I mean I'm not shocked. It just all came down to how well Marcus Mariota played.
Yeah, and man, I always forget his name. Edwards. Who's that number two? Is it George Edwards? I gotta pull that up. But he's a good ad too from Atlanta. So the Falcons have weapons. Kyle Pitts didn't exactly tear it up either, but I mean, they almost beat the Saints week 1.
Yeah, I mean, man, but what can we say about these blown leads? It's like Atlanta's cursed.
I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, Brian Edwards is his name, the wide receiver that they got from the Raiders. So sneakily, the Falcons have weapons: Brian Edwards, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts, along with Cordell Patterson. But you brought up a very good point. The Falcons seem to always blow these leads, man, and even big ones. The Atlanta, there's something wrong, you know?
Yeah, yep. I mean, it's just crazy. At first, I thought, blowing the Super Bowl was just, something that happens, and Brady being great, but it seems like there's a bigger issue going on in Atlanta right now.
Yeah, it's like they get a big lead and they have zero confidence that they can keep it and finish the deal, and it comes up and bites them in the ass again as the Saints pull out a 27-26 win. Um, Jameis Winston, 2 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. Jarvis Landry and Michael Thomas doing their thing. I'm actually pretty high on the Saints this year. I don't know if they win the division because you got Tom Brady and the Bucks right there, but I think they'll be right in the hunt. And look, if they can win the division, some home playoff games, the Saints could be dangerous in January.
Yeah, you know, my thing is they got weapons. They're talented. Uh, I just to me it depends on James Winston. I mean, everything's gonna flow through him and his health and if he can throw touchdown passes and be the Jameis Winston with the talent we know he can be, then the Saints are going to be dangerous.
Absolutely. The weapons are there. You talk about Michael Thomas is back. Jarvis Landry's there now. Chris Olave, the rookie. Alvin Kamara. They've got the talent. Mark Ingram's there too, right? Am
Is
I
he
right?
back?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me look that up. But and so Jameis's problem always has been cut down on the turnovers and stay healthy. If he can do those two things, then he is very capable of leading this team to the playoffs.
Yeah, and the thing is, these last couple years, they've they've beaten Tampa, so
Yep, in the regular season, and so take care of business. They got the Bucks coming up in week 2. They do have Mark Ingram as well, so they've got two backs. You know what I mean?
two pretty decent backs.
Yeah. Let me just say this, Jameis, don't get hurt because your backup is Andy Dalton, and none of us want to see that.
We're gonna bring that up.
Got to. Quarterback 1 for the Bears, right? Yeah, right. Um, so for the Bucks at the Saints next week, a chance for the Saints to do what they do, beat Tom Brady and get to 2-0. Can they do it?
Oh man, see, it's at New Orleans too,
Yep.
and that's usually where Tampa struggles. Man, give me New Orleans.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be rooting for Tampa Bay, but if I'm got money on this game, I'm going Saints. Got to.
Although,
But,
let me tell you, Todd Bowles is cooking up a nasty defense over there.
oh yeah.
A
Yep.
very nasty defense.
Yeah, they lose JPP and Ndamukong Suh, and you could argue they're just as good, it may be better, based on the way they looked week 1.
I mean, yeah,
And to
Barrett,
me, to me, the key to the Bucks defense starts in the secondary. If those young guys in the secondary are balling out, that defense is almost unstoppable.
and they've already balled out week 1.
Yep. Falcons at Rams. You give the Falcons any shot to play spoiler against the Rams week 2?
I mean, to me, there's always a shot, but I think the Rams go in this game angry and hungry. Proving like we're not playing our A game against the Bills, and we're still contenders. I think that they beat up on the Atlanta.
I do too. I think they beat them by at least double digits. But I was sleeping on the Falcons in week one, so we'll see. Um, let's go to Browns at Panthers. Baker Mayfield versus his old team. Um, you know, me and you, I believe, were on the same page. We thought Baker was gonna go in there and throw 4 touchdowns and beat the Browns up with Jacoby Brissett, but the Browns actually take care of business and get the win on Cade York of all people. Rookie kicker Cade York hits the game-winning field goal. What was that, like a 58-yarder?
Yeah, it might have been a 60.
I think it was 58 or 59.
Okay.
8. I got 58. So, but Cade York, man, hell of a talent for a rookie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and how about Jacoby, going in there with Deshaun Watson out and picking up a big win.
Very big win. I mean, if the Browns can somehow get a couple of wins and stay afloat until Deshaun gets back, look out. Who knows with this Browns team? Kudos to Jacoby Brissett. You're right. I didn't think they had a shot, but he did his thing and kept them in it.
Yeah, man. Their defense is elite too.
Yeah. Miles Garrett and them boys, Grant Delpit, Greedy Williams, they got talent all over that defense. Um, Nick Chubb goes for 141 yards. Kareem Hunt did his thing as well. It's amazing to me the Browns get the win. If you had told me this, if you had told me the Browns are going to beat Carolina in Carolina against Baker and Amari Cooper is only going to catch 3 for 17 yards, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah, I agree. Wow, I didn't know that he had that low stats.
Yeah. So, Donovan Peoples Jones and guys like that stepping up, but kudos to Cleveland for getting a big win. Miles Garrett gets 2 sacks on his buddy Baker. And to his credit, Baker brought the Panthers back. They actually took a late lead. Honestly, man, the Panthers should have won this thing. Don't you agree? Like they brought it back. It should have been a Baker comeback win.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Cade York had other, plans in his mind. And I look for the Panthers to be more explosive going forward. They got off to a slow start, and that really hurt them in this game. But look for Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore and these guys to get going. LaVisca Chenault as well. Later in the season, once they get some better chemistry with Baker.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I mean, I know this is still too early, but I wonder if they're going to be able to focus, the Panthers with the looming rumors that Matt Rule is the number one candidate for Nebraska right now.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Um,
uh, it's Matt Rule, uh, Matt Campbell, and then of course, Urban's name gets thrown around, but Nebraska really wants to talk to Matt Rule.
yeah, and Carolina screwed up a while ago by not firing Matt Rule after last season. They should have then. They hung on to him for I don't know why. Now they're 0-1, and they're going to the Giants, who are somehow 1-0. If they don't turn it around quick, they could be 0-2 with 2 bad losses, and maybe that gets Matt Rule. If they don't play well with Baker, Matt Rule's got to get fired like mid-season. I know I would be doing that. I mean, they need to win. They needed to win this game on Sunday, and that's a must-win at the Giants week 2. Um, Jets at Browns week 2. No Zach Wilson, so Joe Flacco should get the start. Man, the Browns are in prime opportunity to get out to a 2-0 start with Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, and I think that they do. Flacco just did not play very well Sunday.
No, and I knew he wasn't. Flacco's too old at this point. He's a statue back there. He used to be good. He used to be elite. He's a former Super Bowl MVP, but that's a long time ago. And frankly, they should have a better backup than Joe Flacco. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's up with Mike White?
Yeah, I know. Maybe give Mike White an opportunity. Something, you know. Um, let's go to Niners at Bears in a monsoon, in a rainstorm on Sunday. No George Kittle was a big deal. Did you think the Bears had a shot in this game with no George Kittle and with all that weather?
Well, I didn't know that the weather was going to be bad until a little bit before kickoff.
Yeah,
I was watching the Fox pregame. Anyway, I thought that the Niners were the overall better team and were probably going to beat them, but the Bears surprised me, man. They really did.
yeah. Um, Debo Samuel was pretty much held in check. Just 66 combined yards. He had a touchdown, but also a fumble lost, and with those conditions, fumbles were, something you really had to guard against. Um, the Niners were out to a 10-0 lead mid third quarter, but then the Bears rally, put up 19 straight, and get a big win. And it really, uh, the game really switched when Trey Lance kind of stared down a receiver, and Bears safety Eddie Jackson jumped the route and picked it off. I'm telling you, bro, Eddie Jackson. I pulled up the stats. His first 3 seasons in the NFL, Eddie Jackson had 10 interceptions. Okay, as a safety. Since 2019, he's had zero. And this is my take. You took away Adrian Amos from Eddie Jackson, and playing alongside Adrian Amos allowed Eddie Jackson to be a ball hawk and for his natural abilities to take over. Now that we have Jaquan Brisker, look for Eddie Jackson to have a big year, bro.
Yeah, and Brisker too. I think he's pretty talented.
I do too. I love Jaquan Brisker. That's a hell of a pick. So I'm looking forward to that. Our safeties, I think, are in for a big year. And then Justin Fields making chicken salad out of chicken shit, pretty much. I mean, uh, I'm not trying to hate, but he has 2 big touchdown passes to Dante Pettis and Equinemius St. Brown. I'm not trying to hate on those 2 targets, but just pull up their stats. These aren't very proven guys. And so that to me is, I think, what the Bears are asking out of Justin Fields is to be a superhero with some average guys around you. And he did it, to his credit, on Sunday in bad weather.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that that could continue. Fields really showed me something on Sunday, in my opinion.
Yeah. He's always had the ability. It's, can the game slow down and can he develop and get over that hump, start taking command like a vet, not a rookie anymore.
Now, a story that I was reading earlier today, how long would you give Trey Lance? Let's say if he struggles and the Niners are 0-3, do you make a move?
I am much more willing to be patient with Trey Lance. When the Niners traded up to draft him, everyone knew he was a very raw prospect and a 2 to 3 year, in my opinion, development plan. And I think he's ahead of schedule getting the starting job after 1 year. And it's best case scenario that you have Jimmy Garoppolo, but you have to be patient with Trey Lance, allow him to make mistakes on the fly and get better. Peyton Manning talked about this. Uh, I think it was last week before the game, but Peyton Manning said, "Look, I would have never been the quarterback that I was without going 3-13 and leading the league in interceptions my rookie year." He said, I talked to Eli, and Eli said, I never learned really much at all from sitting behind Kurt Warner. I learned the most from on the field playing and learning from my mistakes. And I think the same thing needs to happen with Trey Lance. Even if the Niners don't, exceed expectations this year, allow Trey Lance to develop and get better and get a feel for the game. And maybe 2023, you see the big step forward out of Trey Lance. So I think the Niners need to be patient and not panic and allow Trey Lance to make some mistakes and get better on the fly. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, I agree. I was just throwing that out there, because I didn't know if the Niners were in a win now mode.
They're in a tough mode because they are in win now, but they've also got a young quarterback. And it's going to be tempting to go to Jimmy G, but I wouldn't. I would be patient. Jimmy G knows he's the backup. Let him continue to be the backup until, honestly, I would try to go with Trey Lance the whole year unless he gets hurt because, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think Jimmy G, what, is on a 1 year deal, right? He's gone after this year anyway. So,
Yeah,
I don't know. They're kind of in a tough spot, but they need to be patient. They can't panic, and I don't think the Niners are the type of franchise to panic with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. I think they have a plan in place, and they're going to take the patient approach. That's my guess. But the media and the fans are all over it, saying you got to bench Trey Lance, you got to trade Trey Lance. He sucks. He was a bust of a pick. Man, don't fall for that. Don't do that yet. You know what I mean?
yeah. Sometimes these fan bases, and I'm guilty of it. Doesn't give time to either college athletes or pro guys who are just having their first couple starts.
Yeah. And so, it's tough. I mean, there's pressure on the Niners as well. The NFL is always a win now, and so we'll see. One thing to keep an eye on, Cairo Santos, the Bears kicker, 1 of 3 on extra points, 2 missed extra points on Sunday. I don't like that. It gives me Cody Parkey flashbacks, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because he was kicking in mud puddles. So hopefully he gets better in week 2. Um, week 2, Seahawks at 49ers. I mean, another big game. The Niners better win that, right?
You would almost think they would have to because, especially with it being at Levi Stadium.
Yeah, exactly. Your division rival comes in. This is a big game, right? Because what you were just talking about with the Trey Lance drama and Trey Lance conversation on Twitter and on the media, on TV, if Trey Lance gets outplayed by Geno Smith, my God, it's going to be bad. But I think Trey Lance outplays Geno. I think Trey Lance struggled a lot because of the weather. Look for Trey Lance to have a big bounce back game in week 2 and beat the Seahawks. That's my pick.
Oh, I
Okay.
actually Monday Monday night changed my perspective on the Hawks, man. That
Don't
defense,
overreact. Don't overreact to him. Geno's not that good, bro. Let me tell you that first and foremost.
I'm not overreacting to Geno, but their defense looked pretty good.
They got some talent, um, but
I didn't like uh Adams leaving on the cart though.
yeah, he can't stay healthy. Um, we'll see. But I think that Denver had multiple opportunities to win that game too, and they blew it. The Broncos did a lot to cost them that game. A lot more. The Broncos hurt themselves a lot more than the Seahawks hurt them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
And
mean, at the end of the day though, I'm going to go 49ers just cuz I think they have more talent and just a little bit better of a quarterback.
okay, yeah, it's a decent take. And then Sunday Night Football. This is going to be a big game. How are you feeling it? You're not a fan of either of these teams, but do you get excited for Bears at Packers on Sunday night?
Oh yeah, Bears at Packers is always fun to watch, man.
Yeah, there's always a lot of hate, you know.
Especially the spotlight. It's primetime football, the biggest rivalry in the NFL, in my opinion.
Yep. Well, when the Bears are competitive, it is, and hopefully we are on Sunday night. I mean, I think Green Bay bounces back and beats them, but honestly, I think it's a good game. I think it comes down to the end. I think Green Bay probably wins on like a 1 score game, in my opinion.
Okay, so hear me out, right? This is
Hmm.
the first time that I am ever afraid for my favorite player in the NFL, but I'm actually pretty concerned about the Packers not having weapons, and I'm gonna go with the Bears in the upset at Lambeau.
I mean, I understand. I understand what you're saying because the Packers don't have any weapons at all. And it was very evident against Minnesota, but I'll also say that Minnesota's defense looked really good too, you know?
Yeah,
And
but I mean, like, there's rookies. I mean, on that deep pass, that should have been six, and he dropped it. Like,
yeah, Christian Watson. Um,
completely ruined that play. Like, man, it was a beautiful dive.
yeah, and guys just weren't getting open. Remember how sometimes when Aaron Rodgers gets pressure and he can roll out and escape it and buy himself some time out on the edge, and usually that's where we see Aaron Rodgers slinging it with great accuracy and picking up a big 20, 30-yard play, right?
Yep,
And against Minnesota, it's like nobody was open. He had nowhere to go with the ball. He gets out there on the edge, he's waiting, and then he gets sacked and hit hard. And it's like, man, you can just see there's no more Devontae Adams. Aaron Rodgers is trying to do it all on his own, and there's nowhere to throw the ball.
that's why they had to sign somebody. T.Y. Hilton, free agent. You know,
Yep.
Ob.
OBJ, Antonio Brown, there's guys.
You
I
give
mean,
Roger Brown, watch out.
yeah, I mean, you know who they could get right now who would be pretty cheap and help them out right away? Cole
T.Y. Hilton.
Beasley. Cole Beasley.
Oh yeah, yep, a veteran leader for sure.
Yeah. I mean, T.Y. Hilton would be perfect. Odell Beckham will give you a lot of explosiveness. Antonio Brown, if you can deal with the headache of Antonio Brown, I mean, there's no denying the talent, the skill set. So, uh,
Uh,
I'm not picking the Bears to win that, but I think it'll be a better game than people think. I don't think it's a blowout. And if the Bears do win that, man, look out. Like the don't go on Twitter for a couple days. I'll tell you that much.
yeah, because they're gonna tag you and stuff and be like, Alex Leak, you're the one who said we were gonna get 5 wins.
Man, Bears fans will be talking Super Bowl if we beat Green Bay and Lambeau week 2. I'm telling you what. It doesn't take much for Bears fans to buy the hype.
Uh,
Um, let's go Steelers Bengals in probably the game of the day. Me and you were watching the end of this. I was watching this game throughout the day closely, rooting for my guy Mitch in Cincy against the defending AFC champions. The Bengals, I mean, the talent, the favorites to win that division once again. And credit to the Steelers, they get out to a good start. I believe they were up 17-0. They hang on in the end and pull this win out of their ass and a huge road win for the Steelers, man.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I had the Bengals, but Joe Burrow, terrible.
Joe Burrow, yeah, 5 turnovers.
And the O line, where we thought they would be better at, he was sacked 7 times.
Yeah, yep. I do think that they're better, but that was not a good performance for the Bengals O line.
And
They
and
got to protect Burrow better than that. Yeah.
let's not take credit away from how good that Pittsburgh defense can be.
Yes. Now, one thing to take away from this, TJ Watt suffers a torn pec. He's going to be out 6 weeks. Luckily, not out for the season, but still out 6 weeks. That's a big blow.
Yeah, it is, man. It just seems like if your last name is Watt, you can't stay healthy.
Yeah. But, I mean, watching TJ in that game, he was everywhere, and he was an absolute monster. Um, so hopefully they get him back, maybe a little sooner, hopefully. What did you think of Mitch Trubisky in this game? 200 plus yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers, improves to 30-21 as a starter. That record doesn't lie, bro.
Yeah, I mean, right there, it shows he's a winner, and can win games. And he played fairly well. He didn't turn over the ball, so
Yep. That's a big thing. If all right, let me put the shoe on the other foot. If Trubisky had turned the ball over 5 times on Sunday, what do you think the narrative would be?
oh, they would want Pickett in there now.
Yeah, but so and there was still people on Twitter trying to pick apart Trubisky's performance. There's one guy said he was seeing ghosts. It's like, bro, come on, give it a break. A lot of Trubisky's criticism has been warranted. I'll admit it. A lot of his criticism, he struggled and he deserved it. But does he deserve any credit for going into Cincy, getting a road division win, and gutting that one out? Hell no. That's a great performance. And you win the turnover battle alone, you're +5. Man, give me that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, people have to think this was a divisional game, and like you said, on the road, two teams that hate each other.
Yeah. And, this is huge for even me being an optimistic Steelers fan, picking them to make the playoffs. This is a game early in the season I penciled in as a loss. So it's a great start. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then to get the win, Najee Harris was held to just 26 yards and a touchdown. And George Pickens, just one catch for 3 yards. To get a win with all that combined, man, what a performance. Like the Steelers offense can go nowhere but up, in my opinion.
Yeah. The Najee Harris foot injury isn't concerning to you.
A little bit, but it's not expected to be major. Like they're expecting him to be back maybe next week, soon. It's not a season ending or anything like that, from what I've heard. Losing Najee would be a big deal, though. Absolutely. Um, what do you think of this, real quick? The Bengals' hero kicker. He made all the biggest kicks in the playoffs last year. Evan McPherson, who we were high on, we praised him. He's great. He even hit a 59-yarder in this game. So it just shows you how good of a kicker he is. But in overtime, with a chance to win the game, he missed a 29-yard field goal.
Yeah, that's it's pretty wild. I mean, it was probably loud and there was a lot, you know, he's trying to get over being nervous, trying to be the hero again.
Yep. Well, and someone said that there was an issue with the Bengals long snapper. So it was a backup long snapper, and they were like, I think he got the laces on that kick.
Oh, yeah.
So that
Did
could be part of it.
block one too?
What's that?
Didn't the
Yeah, the
block?
blocked extra point early in the game.
Yeah, those came back to hurt.
Yeah, or no, blocked extra point to go to overtime. Joe Burrow threw what should have been the game-winning touchdown, like as time expired, pretty much, and then they missed the extra point.
Uh,
That shit was wild. Cause yeah, I thought it was over, but then they missed it. One of the wildest games I've seen in a long time, especially for a season opener. Week 2, Patriots at Steelers. Bro, there's a chance Pittsburgh take care of business. You can get the 2-0.
yeah, I am gonna go with the Steelers just because, man, I am concerned about the Patriots.
I
Uh,
am too. And we'll talk a little bit more about this, but man, the Patricia thing has got to stop at some point, right?
yeah, I I agree. I think Bill Belichick might need to take the playbook, and he might just have to call the plays.
Yeah. I mean, if I were Matt Patricia, I wouldn't have Matt. If I were Bill Belichick, I wouldn't have Matt Patricia even in my locker room. But I get it; they're boys. But sometimes your boys can bring you down, even though they're your boys. You know what I mean? Like, how are you giving Matt Patricia offensive play calling? Like, is, am I taking crazy pills here, Dustin?
No, he's really doing it.
Bengals at Cowboys, but no Dak Prescott. Bengals got to win this one. They should win this one big.
Yeah, Bengals should. And you know, if I'm Dallas, I know it says only 4 games. Bring him back when he's ready, okay? Because we've seen this happen with Russell Wilson last year. I believe it's almost the same type of injury,
Yeah.
and he came back and just wasn't himself.
Yeah, this is even more so because I believe this is Dak's thumb, and the thumb is so important to your throwing motion and the grip and all that. So you have to be 100%. You don't want to rush him back, you know. Um, Even if it's 5, 6 games, I think you still have enough time to turn it around and make the playoffs.
You do, but hey, Jerry, there's a free agent out there who might win you a couple games. His name is Cam Newton.
Cam Newton, all right. Skip Bayless was saying the same thing on his show. I don't know how much Cam has left, but he's got to be better than Cooper Rush, right?
I mean, I'm just going by the experience and maybe somebody who can, you know, at least run an offense.
At least sell some tickets, put some asses in the seats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's all I seem to care about.
Yep. All right, Eagles Lions, and I'm gonna stop you right here. None of
Oh,
this Lions praise on this show. None of this Detroit Lions are so much better than we could have expected. I know the score was 38-35. I know they fought. They kept fighting. They got it close towards the end, but man, the Eagles look for real. They could have easily put up 40. I think they took their foot off of the gas. I think the Eagles are the much better team, and they took care of business. I still don't see Detroit as being. I know you're gonna drool and go all crazy over DeAndre Swift's 175 yards. Go ahead, take your victory lap real quick.
okay. So, first of all, I know there's no moral victories in the NFL, but we have to get the Lions, okay? Uh, they played very well, and they do look like a team who's getting better. And man, I'm I think that they win 8 games this year.
Uh, Come on, let's let's bring this show back to reality a little bit.
It's not over.
Maybe maybe the Bears win 8 games. The Lions, I don't see it. You got Jared Goff. You know, I just don't think the Lions are going to be competitive. Look, I agree with you to a point. The Lions are going to be in a lot of these games. A lot of these games that they lose are going to be one score games that they just quite can't get it done. I mean, remember the loss to the Ravens last year when Justin Tucker hit what, like a 66 yarder?
Yeah, it was insane.
Like, it's going to be some bad breaks again. And I think for that reason, their ceiling is like 6 wins, 6-11, just because I think they'll be in enough games. Look, if everything breaks the Lions' way, they could go 10-7, but it's not going to. It never does for teams, and especially the Lions, who not only are have a long history of losing, but have bad luck associated with a lot of these losses. And so, they're going to be competitive. They are getting better. They need a quarterback, plain and simple, bro. They need a quarterback. And in my opinion, I know DeAndre Swift had a big game. They need a true running back. They need who I thought Kerryon Johnson was going to be, a workhorse number one back. Right now they got two good backs, not a great back.
I disagree. I like DeAndre Swift a lot, and I think if they can make him have most of the carries, he could be the workhorse back there.
Maybe. And Jamal Williams be your short yardage back, punch it in for touchdowns and have Swift. I mean, Swift is an excellent pass catching back. I'll give him that.
Yes, Swift is your weapon.
Yeah. But I'm just not sold on it. He can't seem to stay healthy. I like his talent. I don't think he's not Najee Harris, right? He's not Jonathan Taylor. He's not your workhorse number one back. And I think that's going to come back to bite Detroit at some point. And Goff, man, they need a real quarterback. Goff, to me at this point, he should be a backup quarterback. Maybe I'm hating. That's just my opinion.
They just put up 35 points.
In garbage time, bro. That was 21 points was legit. 35 was garbage time. I'm not buying it. I know you get up, you put up 38 points on Detroit, you're gonna start sleepwalking a little bit. This game's in the bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it, but it doesn't. At the end of the day, it's a 38-35 win for Philly, and they only won by 3.
The ones who actually sat down and watched this game see a different story. You can look at the box score, see 38-35. Oh, the Lions almost won. Let's be real, they didn't. um, Switch to the Eagles real quick, bro. The Eagles have been one of the best rushing teams in the league for 2 years in a row. The X factor, the reason Philly might be a contender in the NFC. I can't believe I'm even saying that, but it might be AJ Brown, bro. He's that workhorse number one wide receiver, go to star threat that they haven't had since Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree, and kudos to Nick Sirianni for pulling off this trade.
Yeah, I remember when it happened at the draft night, and I'm like, what the hell are the Titans thinking? And look at the Titans, they're struggling. You don't give away talent like AJ Brown, bro. You just don't do that.
Yeah, and it was so random. Like,
Yeah, it never made any sense to me. Real quick, Aiden Hutchinson didn't do much in the game. Did you see that? He had like what? One tackle.
yeah, he kind of struggled.
Any worries, or is it just a bad first game?
Just a bad first game. He'll step it up and play better.
Yeah, and he was close. He was getting to the quarterback. He was getting some good push, just unable to finish the big plays. I don't think he had as bad of a game as the stats would indicate. Um, Eagles, some bad news on the defensive side, though. They lose defensive end Derek Barnett for the season, a torn ACL.
Yeah, that's a big loss.
Yeah, but hopefully they can overcome it. I think the Eagles win the division, especially with that's Philly's in the driver's seat for that division, don't you think?
Oh yeah, yep. I think Philly's going to be the one who ends up taking the division.
Yeah. Week two, the Commanders at the Lions. It's Carson Wentz. Detroit's got a chance to steal this one. I think this is one of those games that I was just talking about, though. It's a good game. It comes down to the wire. I think the Commanders win by like 3 in Detroit.
Oh, I'm going Detroit for this one.
I knew you were.
And you know why? Because there's good Carson and there's bad Carson.
You think we got good Carson on Sunday and we get bad Carson week two?
That seems to be how it goes. I mean, you have a good Carson one week and a really bad Carson on the next week. So
Yeah.
uh, he just does them knucklehead plays. I mean, he had a knucklehead interception.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, why do you throw the ball there sometimes?
Yeah. He's trying to do too much sometimes, I think, and it gets him into trouble. But as long as he wins, look, if you can find a way to get a road win against Detroit, no one's gonna care because you're gonna be sitting at 2-0, and then everyone's gonna be talking who's better, Commanders or Eagles, even though we should all know that question, that answer. Um Monday Night Football, big ass game, 1-0 Vikings at the 1-0 Eagles. That's a must watch game right there.
Yeah, and I love the Vikings, dude. They look very good.
They do. Um, Green Bay needs to try to defend Justin Jefferson. They need to put a guy on him at least. You can't let Justin Jefferson run wide ass open. He's too
Who
good.
can?
Man, you can put a guy on him. You can give him safety help over the top. Double that dude. I had
And
the
I think
same beef with Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams. What's that?
and I think he still burns people. I mean, Justin
He
Jefferson is a
does.
talented dude.
Yeah, give me the Eagles on Monday night to beat Minnesota at home, by the way.
Ooh.
I like I was hating on them going into last year. I had questions about Jalen Hurts. You could never deny their ability to run the ball, and that ability to run the ball with AJ Brown on the outside, bro, they're gonna be a nightmare to defend. Look out for Philly, man. Um, let's go to your Colts at the Texans. The Matt Ryan Colts debut. Lovey Smith back as NFL head coach. Good to see that. And man, let I want you to break it down. What did you think watching this game? How it started? I mean, you guys were down what, 17 nothing or like 20 to 3 you were down. Fought all the way back. What were your thoughts and emotions watching this game at the Texans?
Okay, first of all, for those who are blaming Matt Ryan for this, get out of here. Um,
Hmm.
I think he played well. I mean, he threw for over 300 yards.
Jonathan Taylor did his thing as well.
Yeah, and to me, this is all about Frank Reich. I mean, they came out looking sloppy, holding penalties, false starts. You
Yep.
know, you have you have the best back in my opinion, and that's not being biased. I'm just going by numbers. In the league, and yet you still want to, you know, make your 37-year-old quarterback throw the ball everywhere.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you were averaging like 5-6 yards a carry with
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor. I mean, that's 2 carries in a first down.
Are you worried about overworking Jonathan Taylor, giving him too many touches in a game, or he's young, just feed his ass? He's the best back in the game. You got to give him touches. What do you think?
He wants to be fed, you know.
Yeah. Well, do you think there's two? Is there a line? Is there feeding him too much to where he becomes an injury risk?
There is to a certain point, but like if you like, let's say you're trying to close out a game, feed him the ball, or
Yeah.
if you're struggling passing it, give it to Jonathan Taylor. I mean, you have the number one weapon on your team as your running back because not only can he run the ball, but he can catch out of the backfield.
Yeah, it's true. And to go with Naheem Hines and they got weapons. So I mean, um, let's see. So you guys fought all the way back to tie it at 20 to 20. And then what are your thoughts? So the cut Rodrigo Blankenship after missing that 42-yarder that would have won the game in overtime. Blankenship went 2 for 3 on field goals. He made both of his extra points. Do you think that was an overreaction to cut Blankenship? I mean, I thought he was a pretty good kicker.
Well, if you go back for about a couple of years now, he's
Yeah.
never been that great of a kicker. He's missed some pretty key kicks. I mean,
All
there was
right.
a last year. I know there was two at the season finale last year against the Jags that were huge missed kicks, and it gave them good field position. And then, uh, I believe he was he the kicker when we made the playoffs against the Bills? I believe he was a rookie,
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was a rookie in 2020.
and he missed two big, possibly game-winning kicks in that game. So it's like this is the NFL, and if you can't make kicks, then you're gonna get cut.
Yeah. How about this? Texans. So two guys jumped out to me for the Texans. Tight end OJ Howard caught 2 touchdown passes on you guys. We talked about OJ Howard in the preseason. How surprised were you to see him making impactful touchdown catches against you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I know he's got talent and all that, but you
Yeah,
know,
it's
I'm
great to
actually
see, in my opinion.
I I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
If anything,
yeah. And then Jerry Hughes, defensive end Jerry Hughes. I think most people had kind of forgotten about this guy. He had fallen off. He only had 2 sacks all the season last year. Week 1 with the Texans, Jerry Hughes gets 2 sacks, an interception, and a forced fumble. Hell of a week 1 for Jerry Hughes.
oh yeah, he played very well. And let me say this going forward: Indy's lucky that Houston is still not a good team because if they the way they performed, if they were to play, a top 10, top 15 football team, they would have got smoked.
Well, and I think Houston, man, I think the Texans are becoming a better team. You know, you like the Lions. Give me the Texans right now over the Lions. I like what they're building. I like Lovey Smith being the head coach, Pep Hamilton being the OC, and I like Davis Mills. I think he's developing. I might like Davis Mills better than Mac Jones here soon.
Yeah, Davis Mills is playing very well. He's getting better. You know, he played a pretty good game up until the strip sack, which really probably wasn't his fault.
Yeah, I mean a great play by that EJ Speed. Um, Colts week 2 at the 0-1 Jags. All right. You played down to the competition of the Texans and it ended up in a tie. And we can put a lot of that blame on Frank Reich. I agree, the head coach. But week 2 at the Jags, this is where the seat will get really fucking hot for Frank Reich if he doesn't have the Colts balling on Sunday. And they need to win this game at least by a score, if not double digits. They need to go out there and show that, look, we're a better team than we played week 1. Go beat the Jags, exercise some of those demons from week 18 last year, you know?
Yeah, and that's the problem. We haven't had a win in Jacksonville at Jacksonville since I think 2016,
Wow.
2017 maybe. So
But be
yeah.
real with me. If the Colts lose on Sunday, I'm gonna have a pissed off Dustin on the podcast next week, right?
Oh, I'm gonna be bitching and complaining so much about Frank Reich, man.
Yeah. I mean, they got Jonathan Taylor. Matt Ryan's not bad. Figure it out. Go get a W. I know it's tough in Jacksonville. They've kind of had your number. Of all the times to go turn that around, it's next week. You got to take care of business, get that
Yeah,
win.
and I do like the hire of Gus Bradley though.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
he's
defense,
solid. And yeah.
the
Go
defense is
ahead.
what kept in that game.
Yeah. And then the Texans at the Broncos. Again, I think the Broncos shot themselves in the foot. That's why they lost on Monday night. I think they'll play better in week 2. I got the Broncos winning against the Texans in Denver.
Yeah, I got the.
Yeah. Let's go Patriots Dolphins. Dolphins win 20-7, bro. I don't know why, but every year, I think 3, 4 years in a row, ever since I started this podcast, um, I keep picking the Patriots to win in Miami, and it never happens. I need to learn my lessons. The Patriots are 3-8 in their last 11 games in Miami since 2012. So time for me to give that one a break. And how concerned are you about the Patriots and their offense, especially?
Yeah, I'm actually concerned. I mean, and this is the first time you're gonna hear me say that about Bill Belichick. Because
Yeah.
obviously it shows for himself how great he is. But yeah, you have Matt Patricia calling plays. I mean, come on, Bill. What gave you the idea of that? Like you said earlier, I know they're close, but at at this point in time, if you have to go out and get you an offensive coordinator.
Yeah. And I think he sees that as like it would be like panic. You know, he would see that from the outside looking in, like, oh, he's gonna admit mistake. I don't see Bill Belichick doing that. There's got to be somebody on that coaching staff better equipped to call offensive plays than Matt Patricia. I mean, come on,
Joe Brady,
you
right?
know, Dustin, huh?
Joe Brady, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody other than Matt Patricia, like I would ask Josh to call offensive plays before I'd ask Matt Patricia to. I'll tell you that.
Uh,
Josh Josh Gonzalez, by the way, not Josh McDaniels. So I'm worried about New England as well. I don't know what they're doing. Honestly, Bill Belichick should call offensive plays over Matt Patricia. I trust Bill. I don't trust anything Matt Patricia does. Matt Patricia could coach the 2000 Ravens defense. I'd still say no. Give me someone else.
Do you
Or
think
the
maybe Father Time is catching up to Bill?
No, I just think he's stubborn and trying to do it his way. And I don't think I think he's going to learn from his lesson. He's going to make adjustments, and I still think we see the Patriots in the playoffs. I'm not going to overreact to one game.
I'm not
I
either, but
trust Bill.
if he don't make that move, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, they might be, and they got the Steelers coming up. They could easily fall to 0 and 2. Shout out to our guy, and more importantly, your guy, Melvin Ingram, who was such a major role with the Chiefs last year. He's on the Dolphins now, and he scores his second career defensive touchdown in this game on a fumble return.
Yeah, you know, say what you want. I know you know you're not a big fan of overreaction week 1. This Miami team is good.
They're good.
This
We'll
Dolphins
see.
loaded.
Gonna put up more than 20, in my opinion. I think I still got some questions on Tua. I don't mind the receivers; they got speed for sure. But we'll see on Tua in the biggest games, and they got a big one coming up. Dolphins at the Ravens, week 2.
Ooh,
Give me Baltimore, bro.
give me Miami.
That's gonna be a good one to talk about next week. Either way, I think that's gonna be a hell of a game that comes down to the wire. I'm looking forward to seeing who pulls that one out. Speaking of the Ravens, at the Jets, Joe Flacco going against his old team with an injured Zach Wilson. The Ravens rout the Jets 24-9. The It was a blowout. You know, it was worse than the score indicates. Lamar Jackson throws for 3 touchdowns. We were talking about this in the offseason, how the Ravens offense is so built to run the ball that it might actually hurt Lamar Jackson in the long run. He needs to, to go to the Super Bowl to win in the playoffs. So we need to see Lamar develop his passing game. And Pablo talked about this to me on Twitter, how he believes we're going to see the Ravens passing the ball a lot more, taking more shots down the field. We saw that in this game. 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Devin Duvernay. Do you like what you saw out of the Ravens offense and Lamar's
Yeah,
passing
they
game?
look pretty explosive at times. And
Yeah, they don't have like the big number one wide receiver or big name receivers, but they got Demarcus Robinson, Devin Duvernay, Rashad Bateman. Maybe they can
and
make
I
it
think
work.
that's who you lean on as your number one is Devin Duvernay. He
Okay.
is pretty good to me.
Yeah. I like Rashad Bateman too. I mean, and then Demarcus Robinson is another guy. They got some talent to go with Mark Andrews. And then they're getting J.K. Dobbins back hopefully next week as well.
Yeah, that's gonna be huge.
Yep. Um, how did you look at Jets rookies, Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson? I'm going to say this: Brees Hall looks like he was born to be a Jet. You look at Brees Hall in that Jet uniform with the helmet, he just looks right at home. I think he's a future star there in New York.
Oh yeah, and that's my boy, and he always has been. Like he's always been. You know, I say it all the time. He was one of my favorite backs to watch in college.
Nice.
I just I think he's gonna develop, and he's gonna be a top 10 back here in the next couple of years.
I mean, we could see both Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson being the two best at their position, two star players, star weapons for the Jets for years to come. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this team looks with a healthy Zach Wilson back, hopefully soon.
Yeah, me too.
So, week 2, the Jets at the Browns. Joe Flacco expected to start again. I don't see the Jets winning this. The Browns defense is nasty. Jacoby Brissett Browns might be 2-0. That could be a hell of a story going into week 3.
Oh yeah, that would be huge for the Browns anyway. I mean, all it takes is for Jacoby to just do enough to win. That's all you
Yep.
have to do. You don't have to be
Feed,
flash. You don't have to put up big numbers. Just do enough to win.
protect the ball, feed Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, let the defense do its thing. Yeah, they should be able to get it done. We just talked about Ravens Dolphins. J.K. Dobbins coming back. That's another reason why I'm leaning Ravens by like 3 over Miami.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be a good one.
absolutely. Jags Commanders. Uh Jags Commanders jump out to a 14-3 lead. Jags rally to take a 22-14 lead, and the Commanders finish them off 28-22. Uh Carson Wentz, some up and down, but threw for 300 yards, two touchdowns. Most importantly, gets the win. Coming out of this game, honestly, what I was talking about is Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. I think they're going to be a pretty competitive team this year.
Yeah,
Like,
I do too.
I
I like
think we see a big jump from Trevor Lawrence year one to year two.
yeah, and I like Coach Peterson.
Yeah, that's huge. That's one thing we can't talk about enough is how big of a difference it's going to be going from Urban Meyer to Doug Peterson. It's going to be a breath of fresh air there in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
Um, how about Jahan Dotson catching two touchdowns in his NFL debut for the Commanders?
yeah, he looked pretty good. A weapon for Carson Wentz, and to go along with Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I had in the mock draft, I had Jahan Dotson going to Green Bay. Do you think they should have gone that route?
Absolutely,
I liked
Green
him
Bay
coming out
should
of
trade up
Pitt.
and get any of them guys.
Yeah, I know, but they didn't. I mean, they got Christian Watson, but he's dropping touchdowns. Romeo Dobbs honestly looks like the better of the two.
Yeah,
Um,
he looks like he could be pretty nice.
yeah. So we talked about Aiden Hutchinson kind of underperforming a little bit in week one. The opposite, number one pick, who went ahead of him, Trayvon Walker, records a sack and an interception in his debut. Advantage Walker in the Walker Hutchinson comparisons through week one.
Yeah, Walker just pretty much showed why he was picked over Hutchinson so far.
Yeah, so far, but again, if we listen to this episode in week 18, we'll be laughing because it's overreactions always after week one. So let's wait and see on Walker and Hutchinson. I'm rooting for Walker. I think you are rooting for Hutchinson, but we'll see who does what. I think they're both going to be, solid pros either way.
Yep, I agree.
Uh, yeah, Commanders at Lions. I don't see why the Commanders can't get to 2-0 unless Carson Wentz has a shit performance. Um, And then Colts at Jags again. Colts got to take care of business, but I'm telling you, I think Jacksonville. I don't think Indy blows them out. I think it's a hard fought. Maybe it's a 3-point win if Indy's going to get it done in Jacksonville, and if not, you're going to be frustrated. You would have never predicted 0-1-1 to start the season, would you have?
No, we had to get that win because the next week after that we got Kansas City.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe me and you are trying to go to that one, huh?
I'm hoping that I can be there for that. Yes.
Yeah, let's see Mahomes take an L. Um, Giants at Titans, a surprise. I got caught up in watching the end of Steelers, Bengals, and Colts, Texans, and Bears, Niners. Giants, Titans was the last thing on my mind. It was up on the TV, but it was like option number 7. It was buried down there. It looked like the Titans had this one in control. And then you see the final score, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? The Giants stole that one in Tennessee, in Nashville, and they did, bro. Credit to Brian Dable. Honestly, Saquon Barkley went for 194 yards and a touchdown. If you had told me Saquon Barkley is going to have more yards than Derrick Henry, I might have laughed at you. What do you think?
Yeah. Man, Saquon looked good,
Yeah,
and a healthy Saquon could be huge for the Giants.
they can win games if Saquon's healthy and running like that. Absolutely. And they did that without Aziz Ojolari and Kayvon Thibodeau.
That's crazy, man. Daniel Jones had 2 turnovers.
He stays turning the ball over, but still got the job done. Credit to the Giants defense. They held Derrick Henry in check. And what do you make of this? The Titans drafted Treylon Burks in the first round. They've got Nick Westbrook-Akina. Their top target, their top receiver in week one was fifth round rookie Kyle Phillips out of UCLA with 6 catches for 66 yards. Do you know who the fuck Kyle Phillips is?
Actually, I do. He was the number one target for Dorian Thompson Robinson over there at the starting quarterback for UCLA.
Over at UCLA. I admit I didn't watch any UCLA the last couple of years.
I'm
Is
just
Kyle
a college
Phillips
football
good?
buff, man.
Yeah, but is Kyle Phillips good?
I mean, he showed on Sunday he could be good.
He's average. He's all right. He just got some targets, huh? I
I
mean,
mean,
tr- honestly though, Traylon Burks is supposed to be the AJ Brown replacement. I don't know. I think there's a lot of pressure on Traylon Burks there in Tennessee. I'm having my doubts about the Titans as a whole. Um, I think they're better. They're gonna be still a 9-8 team, maybe 10-7, but I'm starting to have a little bit of question marks about Tennessee. What about you?
yeah, man. I've been saying it. I don't trust Ryan Tannehill.
Tannehill, yeah, and you take away AJ Brown and Julio Jones, and you know,
And I think Henry takes a step back.
maybe so. And that's something that I'm kind of naturally, thinking that it might, if it comes eventually to everybody, it's gonna take Derrick Henry putting this team on his back to have them being dominant. Do you agree?
Oh yeah.
And big time credit to Brian Dable. What a big road win to start your career as a head coach.
Yeah, and he was emotional afterwards too, so I liked it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they got an opportunity at home to go to 2-0. They got Baker Mayfield and the Panthers coming in. Bro, the Giants might get to 2-0.
Yeah, that's a very, very winnable game.
Yeah. I'm going to be rooting for Carolina because I don't want to see Baker start 0-2. They got too much talent to be 0-2, but it's a winnable game for the Giants. I agree. Um, and then Monday Night Football, the Titans at the Bills. Do you think Buffalo takes care of business? They might win this one by double digits, maybe, right?
Yeah, they have too much talent.
I think maybe the Titans keep it close. Maybe it's a good game. Maybe the Titans can even pull it out, but advantage Buffalo for sure on paper. Um, Chiefs Cardinals. I picked the Cardinals just because my narrative is Kansas City taking a step back. They're in Arizona. The Cardinals have explosive offense, talent on offense, and Mahomes goes in there and throws up 5 touchdowns on their head. Um, Cliff Kingsbury again doing dumb shit. I got worries about the Cardinals. I don't know. The Cardinals might not make the playoffs this year. I don't see them being better than the Niners or the Rams. What about you?
Yeah, this game showed that they weren't very good. I
And
mean,
Kyler Murray looked bad in this game.
yeah, yes, he did. And you have to step up when this is a big game and it's already week one.
Yeah, yeah, this isn't the preseason anymore, and a lot of people are building up that hype for Mahomes against Kyler, the two up and coming quarterbacks. Who's better? And Mahomes kind of just made that one look easy. Are you buying the Chiefs? I mean, I don't think the Chiefs. Some people are, overreaction to week one. They're saying this might be the most talented roster Mahomes has ever had, even better than the Super Bowl team. I call bullshit. There's no way they're better without Tyreek Hill. I think they're a worse team that had a great week one. But do you think the Chiefs are this good? Do you think you see the Chiefs like win the AFC West again, or is it overreaction? Maybe they're not quite this damn
Well,
good.
first of all, whoever said that about the Chiefs should probably go back and look at the rosters compared to now.
That Chiefs fans are crazy, so you gotta kind of cut them some slack.
Secondly, the Chiefs, I will know more depending on how they do this Thursday, which is tomorrow.
Yep, big ass game against the at home against the Chargers on Thursday night. That's a must watch game. And Khalil Mack coming off a 3 sack game. I know Mack's hungry for some Mahomes.
Oh yeah, it's just Keenan Allen being out really sucks.
Yeah. Um, so we'll see. That's gonna be a fun game though to watch. Um, I kind of like Chiefs seventh round pick, rookie running back Isaiah Pacheco. You know him?
Oh yeah, he was out of Rutgers.
Yeah, and 62 yards and a touchdown in his NFL debut.
Yeah, he ain't bad. He always flew under the radar over there in New Jersey, Piscataway.
Yep. Um, and then rookie Sky Moore catches one for 30 yards. He's gonna need to play more of a role going forward. Um, Harrison Butker will be out for week two, so no Harrison Butker against the Chargers either.
Yeah, he's a pretty good kicker too.
Yeah, so maybe the Chiefs will be going for it on fourth down more. This could be a no field goal kicking, no kicking game. This could be all like go for it on fourth and go for two with Brandon Staley and no kicker for the Chiefs.
Leave Brandon Staley alone.
He almost cost them against the Raiders, but we'll get to that here in a second. Um, so Chargers at Chiefs. Who you picking for this game tomorrow night?
Give me LA.
Give you LA. All right. Yeah, Um give me LA, but I won't be surprised if KC wins it.
LA is one of my teams that I'm gonna pretty much throw a lot of my chips in at. I think they're the ones who can compete with the Bills.
Okay. And Khalil Mack, man, if he can play like that all year, that's a big X factor there. Um for the Cardinals, they're gonna go to Vegas to take on the Raiders. I think it's a good possibility the Cardinals start the year 0-2.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they do.
Man, that Cardinal fans will be upset. And maybe they should put some heat on Cliff Kingsbury instead of signing dude to a contract extension.
Yeah, that's
But
great.
you know what they say. Raiders at Chargers. LA jumps out to a 17-3 lead, hangs on to win 24-19. Raiders had multiple chances in the final game-winning drive, um, or for a final game-winning drive, but Khalil Mack wrecked their plans, and then they couldn't make a stop on 3rd and 3 for their defense to get the ball back. So, um, you can't execute in the clutch. You don't deserve to win. Uh, I was happy that the Raiders fought back into this game, made it a good game, but they just weren't clutch, and that's going to be something they need to work on and improve on if they're going to come out, make the playoffs in such a loaded division.
And the Chargers had the better quarterback. Let's be honest.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not willing to really. I mean, talent wise, sure, but I'd like to see Herbert make the playoffs before I crown his ass.
Yeah,
I know he's got talent, but I mean, I guess Brandon Staley is really the one holding him back. But I don't know. I think Carr's got the weapons to win that game. But he threw 3 interceptions. He was sacked 5 times. I'll admit Herbert outplayed Carr on Sunday. Absolutely.
have you wanted to change your MVP pick yet?
That was not a good start. I'll admit that, but I'm not gonna bail on it quite yet. I still think, if Carr can't do it now, then Carr can't do it at all. So this is a big year for Derek Carr. if he doesn't, if he isn't an MVP candidate this year, maybe he's just not the guy. And that's, there's a lot of people thinking that. So we'll see how he does. Um, and then Cardinals Raiders. Let's see. Devontae Adams. I mean, I said Devontae Adams was going to kill it in Vegas. Maybe as much, if not more, than in Green Bay. He starts it out with 10 catches, 141 yards, and a touchdown in his debut.
Yeah, that's nice.
And here's one thing I will say. If the refs weren't gifting the Chargers first and goal at the one for no reason, maybe the Raiders win on Sunday. Did you see that bad penalty against the Raiders defense when Herbert on 3rd and 3 at the goal line is run towards the end zone, slides really late, barely gets touched at all in the helmet, so it would have been 4th and 1 at the 2-yard line. Instead, they throw a penalty and give them first and goal at the one.
Yeah, I did not agree with the penalty call.
And it's bullshit, man. Like, I understand protecting the quarterback. I get it. But when he's running forward and sliding late at the goal line, come on now. Defenders have to be able to stop. They're just supposed to pull up and let fields walk in for a touchdown. Come on. I hated
Yeah,
that call. So that's my one beef for that game. Um, let's go Packers Vikings. I mean, how shocked were you to see the Vikings up 20-0 in the third and 23-7? Green Bay didn't provide much of a threat in the game.
yeah. I mean, I wasn't too surprised because again,
Really?
Rodgers not having weapons scares me. But and
7 points. Like, I know he doesn't have weapons, but man, that looked worse than I even anticipated, in my opinion.
and the Vikings are better. Let's not say they're not.
And you know who played out of his mind against his old teams? And Darius Smith was all over the place.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, this could again be another overreaction because look at what New Orleans did to Green Bay last year, and then Green Bay went on like a 7 game win streak.
I agree. And that's why you can't overreact. And that's why I think the Packers bounce back and win against Chicago tonight, like they always do. So I agree. It's an overreaction, but it didn't look good. The optics did not look good as far as Rodgers and his weapons. And so if his weapons are non-existent again on Sunday night, that's why the Bears might have a chance to steal it. I'd expect Green Bay to play better.
Yeah, I think they will, but I just think Chicago is going to go up in there with confidence and their head held high.
Yeah, they are. They're hungry. They haven't beaten Green Bay in a long time. They haven't won in Lambeau in a long time, and they're coming off a big win. Bears are gonna be feeling themselves, saying, "Why not us? Why can't we win this?" But um, it's Aaron Rodgers. I think he'll find a way, and I think he'll play better. And I think Christian Watson. I mean, he should be able to catch the ball in week 2. Like, come on now, that's as bad of a drop. So,
Yeah, there's
Minnesota. I mean, how are you feeling about the Vikings? That week 1 win has to kind of instill what we were saying early in the year. Maybe the Vikings win the division this year.
yeah, I'm not changing my pick. I think that they still do win the division, and again, that defense looked pretty legit. So I guess we'll see when they face a high-powered offense on Monday.
I mean, I think it's likely that the Packers and Vikings are tied at 1-1 after week 2. Um, Packers win, Vikings loss. We'll see. That's just my gut. So that's why we can't overreact to week 1. Um, Sunday night football, the Bucks at the Cowboys. Tampa Bay takes care of Dallas easily in Jerry World, 19-3. You know who showed out for me, who flashed for me, and if he can play like this all season, they'll be just fine. Leonard Fournette, 127 yards, and was running people over. Fournette looked in really good shape after all this talk about him being out of shape in the offseason.
Yeah, and that's huge too because it takes a lot of pressure off Tom Brady.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've always been a big Fournette fan going back to LSU, going back to Jacksonville, so it's nice to see. Um, Dak Prescott struggles, throws for only 134 yards, one interception, and then gets hurt, injures his thumb, out multiple weeks. Man, you can't think of a worse way to start the season for Cowboy fans, can you?
Man, they just can't catch a break. I tell you.
No, and
Uh,
you can eat a loss. You can lose. That's fine. It's 0-1. It's week one. But to lose Dak Prescott for multiple weeks, Cowboy fans have to be just sick. And hopefully Prescott can come back sooner than later. And hopefully whoever, Cooper Rush or whoever they got starting in his absence can tread water and keep him at least competitive. To his credit, Cooper Rush has only started one game in his NFL career. Guess what his record is?
1-0.
1-0. So if he can get a win or two and keep him, right around 500, you get Dak Prescott back. It might not be time to panic.
Yeah, but I mean, is Dak really that guy?
He is. He's got the potential to be. You need a guy with upside, and Dak Prescott gives you upside. He gives you the potential to win the division, to make the playoffs, have some home playoff games, and then at that point you never know. But you need a quarterback of Dak Prescott's caliber just to get you into the tournament. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he's got weapons. He's got CD Lamb, who struggled, only 2 catches for 29 yards on Sunday night. But Micah Parsons looked good, 2 sacks. How you feeling about Micah? He's off to a great start, 2 sacks. He had 13 his rookie year. Do you think he passes that this year?
Oh yeah, Michael Parsons is a monster.
Yeah, he's a dog, and he continues to show it every game. Bad news for the Bucks. They lose Chris Godwin to a hamstring injury, but it's not as severe as they originally thought, so he might not miss that much time, but still.
Let me say something real quick, man. You know who looked good? Julio Jones.
Oh yeah, good job mentioning that. I didn't have him in my notes. Julio Jones is a monster, bro. He's still got it.
When I seen him catch that, what was it, like a 60-something yard pass?
Yeah, over the shoulder.
Yeah, I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
Julio, if he can stay healthy, Brady might have found his number one. And what's crazy is Brady's number two could also be a number one.
and who's that?
Mike Evans.
Man, Mike Evans is number one. Julio,
Ooh, no,
yeah, yes, 100%. Mike Evans is number one. Shit, Chris Godwin's number two. Julio's like
over
number three.
over a healthy Julio Jones.
Yes, give
Bro.
bro. That's what I'm saying though. How can you go wrong with Julio at number three? Either way you look at it, let's say Chris Godwin's your number three. That's the best number three in the entire league.
Man, if Julio can stay healthy, that team can reach the Super Bowl.
Yeah, always. Whenever you got the GOAT and then you surround the GOAT with, again, if healthy, Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Leonard Fournette, and then, that defense, they're absolutely a contender always. Um, Week two, Bucks at Saints. We talked about this a little bit. I mean, go Bucks, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Saints get a win.
Yeah, I think they struggle in New Orleans.
Yeah, they always do.
So I think Brady is actually going to come out and show out.
Yeah. He's for whatever reason he's struggled against the Saints, but I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. I hope he balls out. Should be a good game either way. Bengals at Cowboys, probably Cooper Rush getting the start. Advantage Bengals, and we'll see how Cooper Rush looks. Can he hold the fort until Dak gets back?
Yeah. Do you see them making any moves or anything? Or
I don't think so. I just don't know what the options are. You mentioned Cam Newton. I don't really know other than that.
is it? Hear me out. Is it worth trading for Jimmy G or no?
No, I don't think so. Just because, if Dak's only going to miss 4 games, it's not the end of the world. If it's only 4 games, maybe it's 3 or 4, you can ride with Cooper Rush. You don't have to panic and go make a trade. If Dak was going to miss the season or 10 to 12 games, then go get Cam Newton or trade for Jimmy G. But
But
4 games, you can survive that.
that's the problem that scares me though, Alex. Is I think 3 or 4 games is rushing him back too soon.
You might be right, but as long as he doesn't re-injure himself, you're fine. He might struggle for a week or two and then get better and be fully healthy. Um,
Oh.
I mean, if he re-injures the thumb, then you're fucked. But you don't have time to wait until Dak's fully healthy. You just don't. It's a tough division. It's a tough NFC, and Jerry Jones is not going to be patient. Jerry Jones is championship or bust every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that O line, man, I don't trust them with Dak giving at 75%.
Yeah, and it sucks losing like Lyle Collins and some of the pieces they lost too. I agree. Or what's his name?
Tyron
Tyron
Smith.
Tyron Smith is what I meant. Yeah. Um, let's go Monday night. Broncos at Seahawks. Monday night football. Russell Wilson returns to Seattle as a Bronco. The Seahawks begin the post Russell era with Geno Smith. Um, you know, the Seahawks surprised a lot of people. Geno, they marched right down the field, go up 7-0. Geno played decent, better than a lot of people expected. Russell Wilson finally throws a 67-yard touchdown pass to Jerry Jeudy to tie the game at 10-10. And that's what I think a lot of us were expecting to see is the Broncos be high powered and high flying points. You know what I mean? And huh?
No, I was saying, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they didn't. It took them a while to get going, and that's fine. They'll get it going later in the season, but they also missed opportunity after opportunity they had back-to-back fumbles at the 1 yard line. Did you see that?
Yeah, you can't win football like that, man.
No, no one can. I don't care if you've got Tom Brady and Randy Moss in the Patriots. You're not gonna win fumbling back to back at the 1 yard line. Melvin Gordon and Javante Williams both, that's 14 points off the board on paper. Um, and then on top of that, you got Nathaniel Hackett in what may have been the worst head coaching debut I've ever seen. I've been watching the NFL since 1995, and I don't think I've ever seen a head coaching debut worse than that. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. Everybody's been saying it. I'm gonna say it. You're paying this man over $250 million, right?
Yep.
He's your best player on the field. So he's supposed to be. It's
Yeah.
Russell Wilson. You don't kick it on a 4th and 5. You especially from 63 yards out. You gotta put the hands in your quarterback. Because in my opinion, Russell may have made something happen.
Absolutely, and I agree 100% on that. But I think the more egregious, and I mean, come on now. You did you see the thing where Peyton Manning and Eli are like, call timeout, call timeout, what are you doing? And they just casually waste 30 seconds off the clock.
Yeah. By the way, that video is funny as hell. Paige just said that.
Peyton took 63 timeouts in the time it took Nathaniel Hackett to take one.
That's man.
So, you can't go anywhere but up if you're Nathaniel Hackett from here. Like, that's the worst debut I've ever seen. The worst part is when he came out and did his press conference to apologize about it, he kind of didn't really apologize. He kind of like, oh, we had a plan. Yeah, sure, we should have gone for it, but only because we missed the field goal. And we had a plan and we got to the right spot. Our kicker said, I can hit it from 64. So we did what we needed to do, which is bullshit because your kicker might tell you, I can kick it from 64. But don't you, Dustin, if you're the head coach, don't you want to maybe get it to more reasonable, maybe 46, maybe at least 50, somewhere that is a higher percentage kick?
Oh yeah, of course. It doesn't matter who your kicker is. It could be Justin, Tucker. You just want to get it closer just for the extra guarantee.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to allow 30 seconds to go off the clock, and the Mannings and Shannon Sharp are just sitting there clowning you on national TV, it couldn't have been a worse look for Nathaniel Hackett. So we'll see
Yeah.
how he looks in week 2, but that's a terrible, terrible start.
Do you think maybe Russell Wilson, as the leader of that offense, should have called a timeout though?
Yes. Yes, I do. I don't know what Russ was thinking either. Also, where's Russ saying, the hell, we're kicking a field goal? It's 4th and 5. I can go get us a first down. Give me the ball. Where's Russell saying that, too?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he did. We don't know, but Nathaniel Hackett just obviously from his comments seems to be a guy who is going by what he wants to do.
Yeah, but from everything that I heard, when they traded for Russell Wilson, they made it clear that Russell's going to have a lot more input here in Denver. That's part of the reason he wanted out of Seattle, is because he didn't have enough input in bringing in guys that he likes, play calling, situational, what do we do here? What do we do there? Audibling, freedom at the line to change plays based on what he sees. So if you're going to give Russell Wilson that much um what do you call it? That much authority, that much control, then where's Russell calling a timeout? Where's Russell saying we need to go for it? That's a good question. Absolutely. And Nathaniel Hackett is going to get all the blame because he's the head coach, but it's a legit question to say where's Russell in all this. Absolutely. He should know better too.
Yeah, and I mean, you gotta. I doubt, Nathaniel Hackett would have told him no.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, look, I know what I'm doing. I'm the quarterback. Let me go get 5 yards so that we're not kicking from 64. I would think that would be common knowledge, common sense. And it just seemed like there wasn't any of that communication there. It seemed like everyone was kind of like, didn't understand the situation, especially when they were letting the 30 seconds just run off the clock. Russell seemed oblivious to it, and the head coach seemed oblivious to it. And everyone at home on the watching the games like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see, but
It was a pretty it was pretty big ratings by the way. I think it hit what 20 something million, didn't it?
yeah, yeah, the NFL is king. It always will be. The NFL, there's a reason that the NFL doesn't care what fans think, and it's because they're bringing in ratings, tremendous ass ratings every year. So they don't really care. They're racking in the money, bro. The NFL is absolutely king,
Yep.
and that's why we love it.
Hmm.
So great football, man. I mean, we're sitting here talking about, you know, trying to complain or whatever, but how about? I mean, does it get any better, Dustin, than that week 1? That was one of the best week 1s I've seen in a long time, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Two ties, or I mean, not two ties.
Almost,
You know,
damn near 2 ties, and something I've never done before, Dustin. So consider yourself proud of your Colts. I have never typed in and 1 for a team in the since I started the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, anyway, let me say this though. I
Yeah,
thought about this. So that puts a big emphasis though for those teams that like set their star players the whole time in the preseason. You got to play them at least one game.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
The ones that sat them all looked rusty and out of it.
you have to at least play them one game to get them having up to the speed of football.
I agree. You can see it. And I get it. It's risky because the last thing you want is an injury to your star player in preseason. But like Zach Wilson, right?
Yep.
But you got to do what you got to do. So it's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So I don't know. I think it's football. There's risk with everything. So I think you got to play them and hope for the best.
Yep.
So good shit as always, man. This was a fun episode. And the season's just getting started. We got 17 more weeks of this. Like I can't wait.
Yeah, we got 16 more weeks.
17 more. 18 weeks,
Oh
and then
yeah.
we got playoffs.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how these things play out, man. It's gonna be nuts.
Absolutely. I can't wait. So, thanks man for coming on as always. Good shit and we'll get these episodes out. Everyone that's listening, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Follow us along all season long. We're going to have great breakdowns and fun conversation about all these games. So, good shit, bro.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Yep. Thanks, guys, and peace out.
Oh man.